Then I push this button again, and I have already started talking. And maybe Jasper, he also has his own podcast. I know you're hearing me. You can teach me actually how to get rid of this Snow White hat, which is say welcome. Actually, put music there because it's so boring. But okay, it's technical. Welcome to the show. It's so exciting. It's actually first time in my life I'm holding show here from Norway at 1 in the morning, and I'm so grateful, honored, privileged to have very special guests. We have already found our vibes. We have been talking about actually very special person who connected, introduced us. Very good friend of us. It's Alan who is holding the official concept podcast. He never asked me about remote. And actually, it just I'm improvising now. Welcome to the show. And again, thank you for all my heart for being for having found the time for us, for my audience. So, and actually so short. I just asked you a couple of days ago. It's so kind of you, between all interviews, everything you're doing now, to find time for me.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's my honor. It's great to meet you. And any friend of Alan's is a friend of mine. And I was grateful that you wanted to be on as a guest. And I looked up your show and listened to some of your interviews, and you're amazing. All that you accomplished is really impressive.
Jasper, thank you so much. And actually, I'm also a big hugger, not just in the virtual space. And I have a secret plan to move to actually California. And after one of the podcasts, believe me or not, I was invited even to play a little role in the movie, so I can also connect. So maybe one day, we can meet. No, not maybe. We will meet each other first of all to hug each other. This is the most important. The
Yes,
rest, yeah, life
absolutely.
is for hugging and having and making new friends and actually feel this energy frequency in ways. I think this is the most important. And of course, because we already between Alan, he already kind of married us with energy. It's so nice. So thank you for your nice words about me. I really now buzzing even more. Okay, now I should sit. Okay, now it's your stage, your mic, but I'm going to introduce you first. So please welcome again, just to our show. Diversity is the game changer, and he is really game changer. He's actor, producer, writer, but the most important storyteller of humanity, complexity, diversity. Jasper is not just celebrated force in the film industry, he's a living example of how diverse life experiences, inner resilience, and creative courage converge into powerful impact. With 16 major wins, I'm sure much more, and a lot of accolades, nominations, accomplishments, Jasper's work has left an undeniable mark on audiences and critics alike. So our dear guest, he continues to affirm his place as one of Hollywood's most lasting powerhouses. Coming straight from his role in Amazon Prime Video's hit series Fallout, Jasper brings year of depth and authority to one of television's most buzzed about universes. So with more than 100 film TV credits to his name, his recent highlights include Fall, Business, producing and starring in Final Recovery. So after 4 decades, oh, you look so young, you started in kindergarten. But in the industry, Jasper Cole isn't slowing down. Look at him, he's just leveling up. But wow. But behind the all accolades lies something even more powerful. A story shaped by, of course, childhood experience, emotional depth, and courage to embrace difference, both on screen and live. So again, welcome to the show. Welcome. Did
Oh,
you like the
thank you.
introduction?
Thank you so much for having me.
Did you like the introduction?
Oh my God, who is that? I was like,
Kidding.
oh my God, that guy seems really impressive. But you know,
Absolutely.
I tell you, I'm trying to learn, and you know this. I'm trying to learn to every experience now to really be in the moment and enjoy the moments and the jobs, and not always be thinking about the next job coming. So I'll be
Yeah.
62 next week, and I'm learning at my old ripe age here to be in the moment and enjoy the process.
Absolutely. We yeah, especially now we Ukrainians, I'm proud Ukrainian. We through the very drastic lesson had to learn actually to be so much in the presence now, because all the plans for me, all the plans I learned, like for many years, because we were taught by communism all the stuff to like think for in a big system and scales, like for 5 years plan, for 3 years plan, but never taught us to be present, to be grateful for whatever you have already, because it's already enough. You have everything yourself, right? So for being present, and of course a lot of wisdom that you have now, charm, empathy, everything, how you look, how you think, how you project. But one day, guy, it was a boy named Jasper, with a little bit less maybe knowledge, experience, and I think it's very very important how our childhood DNA impact our life, right? And so for me it's very interesting. Always I'm starting from our roots, that people should take us a little bit back to the magic kingdom for somebody, or land actually, where this little boy Jasper grew up with his dreams, aspirations, or probably, I don't know. So please, can you tell us about your childhood and how you in general believe the childhood impacts our adulthood mindset? Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm the youngest of four boys. I had three brothers. I grew up in a college town called Athens, Georgia, which is 60 miles from Atlanta, Georgia, which is a pretty big city here in the States. So it's a southern state with, the southern accent and the Southern Baptist Church and all that good stuff. But I always wanted to be an actor, but it was not something that was really, well, first of all, I didn't have any concept of what that meant,
Okay.
but I did not do theater. I was an athlete and I followed in my brother's footsteps, and I didn't really pursue the theater like I wanted to. But when I graduated high school, I started college and then I went into acting. But I grew up with a lot of trauma. My mom was an alcoholic, and we had 30 years of her being sober before she passed away, so that was a blessing. But the first 20 years of my life was, the alcoholic mom. And then when I was 13 and my brother was 16, we were both struck by lightning, and my brother was killed instantly, and I survived. And so I often say to people that was a very life changing experience for me even at 13. So I was kind of an only child then because my brothers were older, and I think I felt this need at that point to be seen and heard. And people used to tell me when I moved to LA, and they'd say, well, you don't know anybody here, and what made you think you could come here and work? And I said, well, what are the odds you get struck by lightning and you survive, right? So
Mhm.
that was kind of my impotence to sort of just take life by the horns. It's interesting, Val, when you're younger, we don't have fears and stuff, and you take chances and you take risks. Of course,
Mhm.
as we get older, we get less risk taking. So my dad said to me, I remember back, I left when I was 23, and he said, well, son, if you don't try it now, you'll always regret it. So I'm glad I tried. So I moved here when I was 23. It'll be 38 years this year that I came to Los Angeles. But yeah, I would say growing up in the South was a really idyllic time. I grew up in a college town, so I was exposed to all different diversity and culture,
Mhm.
which is important because there's parts of the South that kind of get locked into certain ways, and I was very fortunate that I had a very diverse life around me and my parents. And so I think, in all the hardships I've been through, everybody goes through stuff. It just kind of makes us who we are today.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, first of all, for sharing your very profound and deep story. And I can just imagine, even not just imagine, I can relate so much because I grew up carrying also quite much childhood trauma later, and I understood that later as well because my father, he had alcoholic addiction as well, and my mom, she used to work so much because she had to provide, and then I had to stay a lot of time just with my father. And yeah, so I know what you mean exactly. And but it's up to us, right? When we're grown up people, we have always choices, and we should understand what we even can do with this experience. We can turn it, sometimes we can turn it actually as our creative field, all our adversity, right? And actually to make this world better, knowing that we have suffered a lot. Or some people, they can still choose the path to be a victim, right? So unfortunately, uh, I decided, at least after all this experience, it was very much pain for me because he was quite abusive and yeah, aggressive. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I like grew up and my biggest dream always was when I one day will be working very hard, starting very hard, come back to my home city and adopt two girls at least to save them from childhood they actually I have had. And I took my hands, you know how we do dreams with our hands, right? Now I have Michelle and Nicole have made my dream come true. But what do you think our childhood, because we know if we don't heal, we can repeat, right?
Yeah.
If we understand, then we can transform. When was it lifetime or special game changing moment for you, how you actually kind of made this choice, and then you should, it was like game changing for you how to work with your um experiences actually? Did you feel at one point that it was actually traumatic to have childhood like this, or it came later, or how was your experience with that?
Yeah, a great question. I do think that it was a process. I find so many actors or performers, not everyone, obviously. A lot of them come from some childhood that I often say actors are just people trying to make amends for their childhood, to get the recognition or the love or whatever. In my situation, I had sort of a Jekyll and Hyde situation. When my mom was not drinking,
Mm-hmm,
she was the perfect mother.
mm-hmm,
We call it June Cleaver, like Leave It to Beaver, the quintessential housewife. But when she was drinking, she was like really mean and the devil. So my self esteem was sort of like 50% good and 50%
mm-hmm,
not good. And so I I think I struggle the most with wanting some kind of apology from my mom. I wrote a play about it, and then one day I woke up and I realized, Jasper, chances are she was probably in a blackout a lot of the time. I don't even think she remembers. I tried to shift I tried to put compassion on her
mm-hmm,
and research her childhood and how she was raised and how horrible it was, and I gave a lot of compassion to her, and I realized there's a phrase, if you know better you do better. And
mm-hmm,
I think I came to the realization that, I'm grateful for the love I did get, and that it wasn't 100% not there. So the 50% was great, and then I had my dad 100%. And like I said, the last 30 years of her life, I would truly say we were the closest we could ever be. And so I tell people, try to make amends, like try to say everything you need to say to a parent or a loved one or a friend. Like, even if they don't tell you what you want to hear, make sure they know how you feel. And you don't want someone to leave this planet with unresolved issues on your side of the street. We're not responsible for how they feel. But so when my mom passed away about 13 years ago, it was sad, obviously. If you To lose a parent is really hard, but I felt like we had said and done everything. There was no unresolved issues with us.
Yeah, this is so wise advice. Thank you so much. For me also, I believe we should understand that people, when they found themselves in these places, they also have actually their demon fight, right? And they have always like their childhood trauma. It can be generational trauma, because it's not like sometimes they really want to be, but sometimes they maybe don't manage better choices because they don't know how. It's a lot of reasons. I also believe for us to start from place of compassion, but it's also this muscle, compassion muscle, come in our life a little bit later, right? Because we also have our like choices to take, so many. um I'm so happy that you obviously came to this compassion and gratitude path, which is yeah, everybody takes their own path to come to this point. So thank you so much for sharing this story. Let's talk a little bit further. If you just take us, um, you came to LA, and of course it's melting pot. It's so diversified, and how actually then that life turned out for you. And if we are talking about really diversity, and the path you have been chosen for your work and then life, right? It's really surrounded by so many diversity of cultures, ethnics, all the beauty of the rainbow. I love it so much, and especially I do believe it's so beautiful for how it can creativity where you have been working. What do you think actually about power of diversity and real inclusion? Um, what took place in your life, like in personal life, in professional life? Yeah, thank you.
Oh, great. Yes. So, like I said, I grew up, in being exposed to all different races and ethnicities. And so I knew from an early age, probably I was also gay, or you don't know what that really is at a young age. But
Mhm.
I sort of knew that that was going to be a part of myself I would have to deal with eventually. And so I think part of leaving the South and coming to a place like LA was just a whole new world for me in terms
Mhm.
of the LGBTQ community. I'm also part Cherokee Indian. My grandfather was a full blooded Cherokee, my mom was half, so I'm a quarter. That was a part of our history. We were kind of ashamed of being Indians back when I grew up, and so you kind of didn't, we didn't really talk about that. My dad is Irish, blonde hair and blue eyed, so um, there was just a lot of secrets,
Mhm.
in my childhood. So when I came to LA, I was going to bust open the doors and talk about everything. I wrote a play about my family and starred in the play, and I it's interesting. Being gay was never a real struggle for me, which
Mhm.
I understand now, looking back, how grateful I am because, I wasn't stereotypical, and that's terrible to say because that doesn't, I wasn't bullied because I didn't fit the stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
it's really horrible that that's what saved me. But I so I met my current husband. I met my husband. We've been together 30 years ago. Um,
Oh.
Married for 14, and I just lived sort of out without being like I played the kind of roles that I play as a character actor. I play these really tough, mean, crazy drug dealers and drug
Mhm.
addicts.
Mhm.
And people always that know me laugh in real life because that's so not me. I mean, clearly, I think a lot from my childhood allows me to pull some
Mm.
humor and stuff out but my basic personality, like today, is friendly and it's kind of soft spoken. And um, so, yeah, I mean, I've always been sort of a big, you know, LGBTQ plus person and diversity. And I've just been really lucky in my career that I'm probably one of the few out actors that even plays these kind of roles. I mean, I often joke, it's like, God, I'd love to play. I'd love
Mm-hmm.
to play a gay role eventually. There's this whole series called Heated Rivalry. I don't know if it's made it there yet. It's about gay hockey players on HBO, and it's the newest hottest thing right now. And everything is popular, and I keep laughing and saying, well, I was an athlete. I could play a gay football player or something. But anyway, I would say my personal life, yes, I've been very lucky. Been with Dennis for 30 years, still going strong. Um, I just, I was a psychology major in college. And if I had not been an actor, I'd be a therapist. That's really what I love. And
Mm-hmm.
God knows I've had enough of my own therapy. But that's when I started managing actors. So I've been managing actors for 20 years. I have my own company. And I think it's a way for me to also kind of tap into that psychology realm that I loved. So if I'm not working, I have clients that are working, and I get to see the business from both sides,
Mm-hmm.
behind and in front of the camera. And the truth is, as men, as actors in America, if you're not a leading guy, the older I get, the craggier I look, the more I work. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm hoping the next 20, 30 years will be my busiest time. But, we're living in a time, obviously, in this country, in this world, that diversity, rights are being taken away. Every day things are getting chipped away at. So I think for me, what I try to do is not stay in my little bubble here in California. I try to get out amongst the world and the states and see other people and other cultures, because I think we're all really not that different at the end of the day. I think in the core of who we are, we just want to be loved, give love, take care of our families, take care of our children, be healthy, all the basic needs. And we get into these political camps and corners.
Mm-hmm.
I think our politicians want to keep us all fighting each other. So I try to just stay away from that as much as I can.
Yeah, I know what you mean exactly. We live in so challenging time now, and thank you so much for sharing your story. I do love so much hearing that you've been staying with your life in a safe place, and you've been lucky so much in your personal relationships. And I think it's so beautiful story that you've been together with your partner like 30 years and 14 years married, because we need more and more these stories to be spread off, because now even in our uh, really challenging modest type of life, for I mean, like for teenagers, they poor them, they have every day so much different type of informations, which really their brains are bombarded by social media. But a lot of, like, I have two teenagers I have adopted, and they're like 16 years. Oh my god, they come enough, like, I'm very happy that I can be best friend. We still talk, and they have so many choices, so many questions, and they really, like, they expose now to so much social media, which is deep fake chatbot, which is filter mask, where actually everything try to capture them, right? And it's the whole machine that you should put yourself in comparison, and all the time so much pressure, which actually take the main focus that you are so unique, you should be yourself, right?
Right.
So so that's why I think it's so important then to show, like you said, that at the end of the day, what is the most important and profound for us, our core value, to be loved. It's to love, it's to give each other like compassion, to help each other to stay in sustainable long-term relationship, which is also, it's not that easy. It's also, it's responsibility, it's a lot of efforts, it's a lot of time, job. It's a lovely job, but it is, right? So we should show and teach our youngsters that all these shortcuts and all these masks and filters, how they actually believe life works, it's not like that. So if you could give some ideas or some advices to our actually, yes, young generation, how actually to choose, to dare to be diversified, I mean, to stay unique, and unapologetic, authentic, still in this world where they try to put them in box, right? Then it's easier to manage, right? People. That's why they try to separate us and put in boxes. Then it's very easy to. But what can we advise to teenagers? How actually to dare to be courageous, to be different?
Yeah, the social media thing, I don't, it's, when I think back to my high school and childhood, I mean, imagine, I think about if we had had the constant bombardment of social media telling you you're fat or you're not pretty enough. I mean, we already felt that
Mm-hmm.
with our own peers just in our little world and in the hallways, but with social media. But I will tell you, I think the young generation gets criticized a lot. I don't know if I guess it's Gen Z now. I get confused,
Mm-hmm.
but I find honestly that this young generation are worlds ahead of my generation when it comes to acceptance and
Yeah.
uh, accepting people how they are and all the things that my generation did not do, like putting people in the boxes
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
criticize. Now, economically, I understand for a lot of young people, it's the opportunities are not there because it's hard to make a living these days, and it's hard to get a job or whatever. But I find that they're in a whole other level above my generation with just being loving, kind, accepting of other people. Um, I think that's where they've really get the high marks. And I think I'm impressed by them, and I'm encouraged, like that is the future generation because economics they change, they ebb and flow. But if you've got a young group of people that have good morals and values and compassion, I think that's going to take them further in life than probably my generation and older because we were very judgmental. Although I do get a kick out of when people tell me, I'm not judgmental at all, and I'm always like, well, then you don't have a pulse. You must not be alive because we all have judgments. I think
Mm-hmm.
the challenge is what do we do with the judgments? We're probably most judgeful against ourselves,
True.
internally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turning off those voices that go against ourselves. So I'm optimistic about the young generation. So I would say to them, just embrace their uniqueness, which I think they do already more so than we did. And the things that people want to tell them to change are going to be the very things about themselves that make them successful. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's the way they look and someone doesn't like it, that look is going to be what gets them a job, or their voice, or their attitude. I mean, I think anything physical can be an advantage to us. It's all how we change our thoughts about it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. It's so funny to find out to discover actually the idea one day. I hope everyone can do it as early as possible. That actually it's true. The voice you're talking to, no, you're listening mostly in your life. Actually, your voice is how you talk to yourself and about yourself. You should be so compassionate, but you know, it's true. Like you said, my generation also, and I'm also made in Soviet. Whether anybody told us actually that we should feel like kindness and compassion to ourselves, or we should love ourselves, or we actually deserve to be happy, no way. It was exactly like we were this building creatures, like it was not allowed to be um happy and creative and actually to stand out, right? So I'm trying to encourage my kids very much actually to pursue their dreams and to be unapologetically. And I said, look, everybody out there, people they are already taken on this earth. Look at biodiversity. Look at botanical garden. Roses, they flourish. They never compete with lilies. That's why we love botanical gardens, because we come in there and enjoy the diversity, right? It's like biodiversity. So that's why we need all this rainbow, and especially now in the challenging times which we have, right? And we have to stay together to battle and pollutions and a lot of problems really at global scale, and
Yeah.
how then can actually be separated and fix them just locally. It's not possible. Then we should be united, but we should possess different skills, right? Because otherwise we don't have solutions.
Right.
So thank you so much. And now I would like to address a little bit special type of diversity, which is emergent domain, not itself, but people, like you said, and I am so happy to notice brilliant. Well, the new generation, they're more and more open to neurodiversity or cognitive diversity, because this is my greatest passion. And like I mentioned for you before we started the show, that the whole idea podcast came to me when I was in mental institution last year, because I have OCD, and sometimes it's really like severe episode with intrusive thoughts. Usually, I'm actually joking, like, because I have sometimes really horror intrusive thoughts that I say any person can sit close to me and just make notes. Wow, I can be next Hitchcock and Spielberg, everything what actually I've got the these intrusive thoughts when I have no special periods. And now I'm kind of elaborate about it. It's funny, but sometimes really, like, it's not that funny. But the whole idea for me to be a role model is so bold and honest, and share my story with everybody and say, look, it is the same person who is talking to you now. It is the same person, and it's not a weak, and it's not a shameful to ask help. You are
Mhm.
not alone. It's actually strength to go to therapy to ask help, because all brains, how like our fingertips, different. It just means that your brain is this all different. That's why you can have ADHD, autism, OCD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. So this is my bold mission now. What do you think about actually this domain of neurodiversity or cognitive diversity or brain diversity? How we can, it's still a lot of pressure, stigma, taboo, nation, unfortunately. How we can help each other to build more inclusive societies, not just on the papers that inclusion, but really, how can we help that people like me and with another type of neurodivergence, they can feel more included. Thank you.
Yeah, mental illness and mental wellness is like, I like to call it mental wellness because,
Hmm.
you know, we take care of our bodies, we work out at the gym, we try to eat right, we do all this stuff to take care of our bodies, but somehow there was this stigma got attached to mental illness. And again, I think it's called mental wellness. Like I, for years, back to my mom, my mom ended up being diagnosed manic depressive and anxiety. And looking back, my mom drank because she was just trying to medicate herself.
Yeah.
The moment they put her on, I think back then it was Prozac or one of the early pills. I mean, it changed her whole life. Like suddenly she didn't need to drink because she found a medication that helped her. And so, but me on the other hand, I recognized that I had these bouts of depression and really lots of anxiety. I call it the racing thoughts, where the brain was always going. I could turn everything into a TV movie, you know. I can make it into a lifetime TV movie. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought as a creative that if I tried to medicate that or whatever, I was going to lose my edge or I was going to somehow lose my creativity. And I went way too long.
Mm-hmm.
I should have tried something much earlier, but around my 50th birthday, by the way, I'm that person also that my doctors would prescribe medications to me, and the first thing I would do is go look it up on the internet, and I'd see all the potential side effects, so I would never take it. So my doctors would laugh and be like, "Well, Jasper, if I give you one more prescription, you're not going to take it." So, long story short,
Mm-hmm.
finally, my friend who's the therapist, who actually can't be my therapist, but he said to me one day, "I swear, Jasper, I want just try Lexapro. There's this drug called Lexapro, and I want you to just take 5 milligrams. Just take the smallest amount you have."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? For some reason, I listened to him. And so about 10 years ago, I started. to this day, I take 5 milligrams of Lexapro, and Val, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
he told me it was going to take me like weeks for it to. I say within 24 hours of taking that one pill, I just noticed like the brain just calmed down.
Mhm.
It wasn't anything drastic. It didn't change my daily life. It just, so I say to people now, that's just my example of one small pill that changed my thinking. I tell everyone now, you should think of mental health as you do physical health, and there should be no shame in it, and of course, we know the physical affects the mind, and the mind affects the physical. So it's all tied in together. But I would say getting my brain calmed down, also just affected me in such a positive way in my work, my relationships. Now, I thought I was pretty good at hiding it. So, but as someone, if you struggle with OCD,
Mhm.
you impress me as the type person. I bet you just seemed like you had it all together on the outside as well at times, but inside the brain, you were dealing with your own stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think social media. I think our minds are so overloaded today with all the stimuli from internet and the phone and the this and the Instagram that it's no wonder our brains race all the time. So I think it's a combination of, if medication helps, great. Diet, exercise, limiting time on the social media, and just spending quality time with people that you love, and actually having real conversations with someone. So your face is not like buried, in the phone.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We have a plan that when we meet you and me in real life, first, the most important, we are going to hug because it's so important. All our five senses should be really on, and like, nothing is better and more beautiful and more important to actually this even tactile contact. When you feel, when you smell, it's like all the our right own neurons in our brain, and it's like muscle. And like you said brilliantly, Jasper, it's true that it's actually so interconnected. It's holistic approach. It's everything we know, physical and psychological part of us really intertwined, right? It's so much actually how they impact each other, and I also try to explain them to my kids, like, that it's nothing to be ashamed of, because it's the same why actually when people can break arm or leg, or you have diabetes or something, you don't feel that much shame to share it, and actually you do everything. You go to the doctor, you try to heal it, but brain, it's actually the most still undiscovered and out part of your body organ. It's, of course, it can also be disturbed, and then how you just said exactly, with all this overload all the time, it's like, of course, brain will be disturbed, brain. And 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 when we try to understand, even from this very simple approach, that it's the same part of your body that can be sick, can be ill, right? So we should be much more kind to ourselves, first of all, to acknowledge that it's totally normal, especially now. That's why also I have sometimes digital detox. I meditate every day, do a lot of stuff, because like you said brilliantly, it's like reality show all the time. Like, you can never put down, and I'm so happy, I'm so grateful to you that you're so open without with us, with me and my audience, about the help of therapy and the help of medication. We don't say that it should be like just medication, because I'm sure people believe it. Oh, it's magic. You take in your life all of a sudden totally. Of course, it's holistic. It's like, it's, you should train, you should eat, work out, go to fresh air, not just time on the phone or gadget. So do you have also small, like, I don't know, because it's always about small changes, small steps. They are most profound, right? They make change. Do you have also your routines, or rituals, what you do to
Well,
your, like,
I'm,
daytime?
I'm glad you mentioned meditation. I forgot to mention that because I when I'm diligent, when I'm really diligent with the meditation, I
Hmm.
I do see the results, and then I get busy or I forget, and then I go, wow, okay, I can really see, and it can just be 5 minutes when I first wake up in the morning, or um, I I sort of follow this philosophy called A Course in Miracles, and it's kind of a teaching, a spiritual teaching, but it's really about there's no such thing as idle thoughts, that all of our thoughts manifest on some level. And so that's the chance so I do these meditations out of the book A Course in Miracles. That just happens to be mine, but you can just think of anything, for the day. I am love, or today's going to be a great day, or whatever, and you just repeat that over and over. And now, of course, there are all these incredible apps on their phone, like
Hmm.
the Calm app, and I'm not getting paid to endorse any of these, so whatever people find that they like, but guided meditations and stuff like that, I think also not sleeping with your phone in the bedroom, like putting your phone. I charge my phone on the other end of the house, so and not the first thing in the morning, reach for my phone when I wake up, like try to wake up fully and meditate a little. And as you can see, coffee is my drug of choice right here. Um, I don't drink, I drink water and coffee. Very boring. But I do have to have caffeine in the mornings. But yeah, I think I'm a huge walker. My friends call me Forrest Gump, the walker, because I walk, if I can, I walk everywhere. But it's also a form of, I think, meditation for me. Um, I just like to be out moving. And before I was on any kind of medication, when I would have really bad anxiety, that seemed to really help as well, to
Hmm.
actually get out and move around. And it's not the same for me being on a treadmill and stuff. I like to be in California. We have a lot of hills, and I like to get out and walk and see people and see nature. But that's just what works for me. But I think little steps, like you said, but meditating, just calming the brain down is what's important.
Absolutely. I do love that you've mentioned walking because it's actually called walking meditation. And then we are from the same tribe because for me also walking, it's always since I knew the term meditation or walking meditation. I remember as long as I can remember. So if I was put in some situation or I was a little bit nervous or overwhelmed, I always went just out and just went a lot of hours, and all of a sudden I understood. First of all, now I know a lot of research, of course, because when you're walking, your blood have more oxygen like circulate to your brain and left and but right part of the brain. It's a lot what's both physical, chemical, and spiritual, of course, and a lot of stuff that now I know more profoundly, right? But it's still the best what I can do in my life. Though I live now in Norway, and sometimes it's so bad weather, it never stops me. I have to walk. There, I know it doesn't matter what's happened in my life. If I go out and I'm on the walk in a couple of hours, I'm coming back home already feeling better,
Yes.
already recharged, already in the modus to no, you know what? I walk through these problems and then change and see even more opportunities in that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I do my best thinking when it's so funny you said that about winter. You're in Norway. Where are you?
Trondheim, it's the central part of Norway. It was historical capital, but now it's technical capital of
So
Norway.
clearly
Trondheim.
you deal with some cold weather at times.
Now it's -10 and we have a lot of snow and it's dark. Yeah.
Well, even out here, I'm in LA and Palm Springs, but I mean, if it's raining, I've got the umbrella and I'm walking. You know what I mean? So people laugh, but I do think sometimes, oh my God, if I lived in really cold weather, but I know I would still make it work. I would do it, but I don't take for granted how lucky I can just go out the door, and no matter what the weather is. But I think, yeah, I think walking is just move your body, just move. Um, so important to just, and I always tell people everybody's different. Like the foods that work for my body may not work for somebody
Yeah.
else. You have to find out what works for your digestive system. You know, which foods can you handle, which ones. And I'm very jealous of those people who can just eat anything. It doesn't bother them. You know, they don't think about it.
Hmm.
I, on the other hand, I have to be very particular about what I can eat, can't eat, and stuff like that. But in the end, it's how it makes you feel, right? So you choose you choose health over a momentary like bad piece of food that you're gonna only like for 5 seconds. I'd rather feel good all the time.
Exactly. And it's also, it's very nice, good feeling like for your mindset, that it means that you're taking care of yourself. It's also right. Then you're we should always remember that the most important, we should actually be our best friends, like you said, but it's not that easy to do, right? By talking, by taking care, because we're kind of, especially empathic people, put mask like on the plane on everybody, but then on us, but it should be reversed.
Right. Last ones. I like that you said empath. I People throw that word around a lot, but I mean, I recognize that. First of all, I don't think there are any accidents or coincidence in life. I want your audience to know, for example, you and I have never met. We had no conversation about what we would be talking about today. We don't know anything. I didn't know we talk about mental health. I didn't know. So when you're just open, like I think it's no accident that we were supposed to meet. Um,
No.
you learn as you get older too. Things are they're either happening to us or for us, and
Yes.
we don't always recognize the for us in the moment, and maybe we don't even get it till later. And but in everything that's happening, we have a choice. It's gonna happen, and we're gonna go through it, but we have a choice. Are we gonna be happy while it's going on as much as we can, or are we going to be miserable while it's happening? Because it's going to happen. It's already there. We don't have a choice. But our choice is how we react to it and how we experience situations. That's been a hard one for me to get over my lifetime is I have a choice in this situation.
Exactly. It's the beautiful about choice. Today, actually, I went to my OCD therapist. I kind of just train in my head what I should do with intrusive thoughts, and actually, she gave me advice also in the talk. And we exactly today we're talking about this specific word, we choice, that anything what actually we kind of stimulated and pumped from outside, it's always about stimulate. I mean, our thoughts, our emotions, we can never control that, just forget it, but we can, like you said, we can make a choice how we can approach it. It's like Valeria, choice. Remember this word, choice. It's your choice how to approach that, and we can manage, train our brain on that. Then it's like game changing, right? But for when, of course, but we have depression and anxiety, i've I've been through that so many times in my life, even like really really so much anxiety. I was almost like suicidal tendency, a lot of stuff. So then it's difficult to have detachment from yourself and your thoughts. So you know you are not your fault, but then it's very very difficult, right? So like you said about your mother, I do believe my father had the same. That's why he didn't know other way how to cure it, because I do believe he did depression. He had depression and anxiety as well. So I choose just to feel compassion so much for so many people, that's why you and me sitting here and sharing our stories are so honest, trying to help people that they can look and listen our stories. Oh, maybe it will be actually last voice. Like it was this doctor. You said, I don't know why I trusted him, but I decided to take it. Right?
Mhm.
Maybe you and me actually sit now, and we will be the last. You know, uh, like this millimeter or stimulus. Somebody after listening to this show, oh, you know what? Maybe I should also try. Even those two guys, they never met, like you said, but now we actually sitting and talking like we other for ages. We talk about so open and actually deep stuff, and I
And
like.
so here we are worlds apart, right? I'm in the United States. I'm in California. You're in Norway. we're not different. I mean, that's what's interesting. And I think one thing the pandemic did in a strange way, wonderful way, is I would say the pandemic really did force us to sit down, calm down. I mean, of course, there was nerves and fear about the virus, but I mean, most of us had to like talk one on one to people on these Zooms and stuff, but we could connect with people all over the world
Yeah,
in different parts of the. But you could literally be down the street from me now. I mean, we have different language, different accents, but but we're talking about universal themes that are the same.
exactly, exactly. And that's why I love that. I'm so very, very. That's why you see every medal has two sides. So, like we discussed about social media, it's yeah, kind of source for to being overwhelmed, and we have to have digital detox and not phone on the bedroom. I have actually the same because I woke up every day. I start with my gratitude meditation, and then I'm kind of, yes, flowing already on the right part of frequency and energy in the day, right? So, but at the same time, like in all situations, you can find something positive, and that's about social media, like you and me sitting now and really have this profound conversation that can inspire and save somebody's life. So it's yeah, it's amazing. Okay, before we wrapping up, we started with our childhood, and childhood always a little bit connected with this magic and fairy tales. And I do believe in magic, and partly magic that we can create in togetherness and with our hands, but also it kind of magic that we need manifest and believe that there is a magic. There is actually no coincidence. It's everything is destiny. Then it's magic. So now for me, it's time to invite my, I call it vice president, and everybody laughs because they believe it will be suddenly one more person. But no, then I'm taking this one. This is my vice president. This beautiful, this pink beauty, you see, she doesn't sleep as well. She was waiting for our show. Can you see what it is?
Oh, is that I can barely. Is that a little? I can't see. Is it a bird? What is that?
This is a genie lamp.
Oh, I was gonna say like Aladdin. You rub it and
It is
Aladdin.
Aladdin lamp. Yes, it is Aladdin lamp, and very very cool vice president. She never fights against me. Always agrees with my decisions. Also very kind because she really wants to grant wishes and help as many guests and people as possible.
Mm.
The one thing that we cannot make three wishes, then it's not enough time to fulfill all wishes. Because Aladdin was just for, Aladdin, his three wishes. But my genie lamp, she wants to help all my guests.
Mm.
So we cannot grant three wishes, but one wish, absolutely, we can do it for you. So that's my last question for today. Exactly right now, like you said, in fully presence. Um, what exactly what hits you? Like it can be everything from the big stuff, I don't know, peace for the world or peace pineapple or something. Exactly right now from Jasper, what kind of one wish we could grant for you?
Wow, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, honestly, the thing that hits me is if we could just. This sounds like such a beauty pageant contestant answer, but I really mean it. Like the war in Ukraine and what's happening in Venezuela,
Yeah.
and our president would stop trying to take over Greenland. And I mean, if we could just, if we could just let people be in peace and just know that back to what I said about we're all the same no matter what, but it's the evil. I mean, I do believe darkness. I think there's love and fear. Everything in life is you're coming from a place of love or a place of fear. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of our wars and our politicians and our dictators and all that, these are just wounded people that live in constant fear. And they're not enough and they need more and there's got to be more and more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just wish more people in the world could be granted peace and prosperity and acceptance of everybody. I think it sounds so generic,
No.
but I think in a way it can be done. And most people, I think, are really, the majority of people are really good people. The minority are the bad ones, not the majority. But we're told the opposite by politicians and other people. But we as people just have to remember that we're basically good inside, and that's what we should be thriving for. So that's my wish. I wish everyone could just be prosperous and happy and healthy.
Thank you so so much, really from my heart, which is also can sounds a little bit hedged, but it's absolutely not. I do hope you feel that actually I put much energy and frequency by all my molecules and atoms in that, because of course I wish it more than that for my country, for Ukraine, but also for every single person to be in peace. And we know, like you brilliantly said, Jasper, everything actually what's going on, it's from two places: fear or love. And fear always follows control, and love always married with trust, right? So I am joining, and my vice president, she is buzzing now. She said that it's so beautiful wish from you. So we will be absolutely um, lovely on your mission, and I can, when next time I come and hug you, so I can give you the I can report how much proceed. We
Yes.
already did your wish, right? So thank you so so much. Genuinely grateful to you, for your time, for your energy, for your wisdom, knowledge, insights, being open, being so lovely person, being you. Really, like it's more than that. That I'm just saying, like, because I have to say, like, I really feel it. Like you said, we never met each other, and actually one of our angels sent by God. I also believe it's all those little they've been sending to me, because I do believe in God. It's kind of faith, like, and God, He talks through people, through their messages. We should just really um, notice them. So your message for me today. So you are my angel today. So thank you so so much. Hope one day really then, like I said, to come and hug you, and we can walk also in together on the umbrella, winter storm. For me,
Yes.
no
We'll
problem.
take a long walk on the beach.
Absolutely, it will be so nice. In togetherness, we can co-create even more magic. Or maybe we go to Ireland, to Australia, right? He in the
Well, let me say thank you, and it's an honor to be here. And you are more beautiful on the inside than you even are on the outside, and you're stunning. So you're stunning all the way around, and you just emanate love and joy and light. And I'm so glad we met.
Thank you so much. I do also believe there's absolutely no coincidence part of this thing for me. So please, beautiful to the audience, I was like, you see how much we already created in togetherness. So please, united we are stronger. Believe that this story we're sharing here, we can always reach out directly if you have even more questions about my life, my experience, and Jasper's as well. You see, he's absolutely beautiful, lovely soul that I'm sure can also find time to answer, because it's so important to understand when you are actually in this very challenging time that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are many people and souls who actually, like you said, they are good. They're actually caring. They live by love of giving and love spreading. Exactly like Jasper, I can feel it as well. So please stay and dare to be different, be authentic. Yeah, and if you have any questions, so just please come to me. So honor your past, embrace your future, create spaces where every mind, unique voices can thrive. Because every voice is really unique. So thank you so much. I wish you a lot of luck with all of your projects. And if you need more talented actors and actresses when I'm come to LA, so maybe if you need.
Yeah, absolutely. You got
Yeah,
it. Yes.
okay. last minute, it was so funny because I had the podcast last year. Gary Familati, he's actually living down in LA. I can introduce you guys. He makes films, right? And after, he was kind of inspired by my energy, and he's like, call me pretty princess. You have so much. You have to play. You have to play. You have to play one time in one of my films. And I was joking with him. I said, you know what? At least not in horror, because I do believe in horror because I have OCD, and I have all these intrusive thoughts, especially suicidal. So sometimes they're scary. So I said, you know what? At least I can say whatever you want, but maybe not at least this, really, because I really sometimes suffer because of them. And what do you believe? Of course, when they approached me a couple of months later, they said, you know what, Princess, we have a role for you, but this is a horror.
I
I was
know.
like, oh my God, it was so. It was, and now we are waiting. It will be Feartober. It's
Oh,
like it's about Halloween, like October, but Feartober. So
yeah.
yeah, and that's okay. This will be exposing therapy, because you know what, actually, yourself, because of anxiety. What shall we do when we have anxiety? We cannot actually run from that, right? We have to turn, and we should actually meet. Then it's
Yeah.
decrease. So then I said, okay, guys, my first role in Hollywood in horror will be my actually new exposure level, just level up.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yes, thank you so much. And it was also so funny because my podcast won the prize. It's City of Angels Big Film Festival in Los Angeles, and tomorrow I'm actually hosting the CEO. But you know what? It was all of a sudden I found out that three podcasts from whole the world won the prize last year, and one, it was mine. And when I was at that time, I was in mental institution again after mugging episode.
Wow. Wow. You're going to have to write a script about being in the institution. I'm sure
Yeah,
that's, yeah, I'm sure that's quite an experience with a lot of stories.
exactly, and I can share. And the most beautiful, humble, kind souls ever I met while I was there. Like in all my life was three times. It's like when I was diagnosed first time 15 years ago, and then last year, and this now, it was just little a week after mugging episode. But how can you, how life can be by actually sitting in really mental institution, right? Because you have OCD, intrusive suicidal thoughts. You sit in pajama making puzzles, or actually I made some pictures with beads, and all of a sudden I get a message from Los Angeles. I'm invited because on the red carpet on Hollywood Sunset Street, because my podcast was. And
Right.
I wrote back to Lisa, to the president, said, you know what? I was so bold. I said, not, because I'm actually now in mental institution. Can you imagine that? And tomorrow we have a podcast because she was like, Valeria, you know what? You have to share this story.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Okay, but now you see now what's happening with me. We actually should have cut my show because I,
Well, no.
okay, okay, we can pretend that I'm already in your podcast.
You're the best.
Okay, love
But
you so
you
so
have to
so.
get some
The
sleep now.
energy is just so exceptional. Please say hi to your family, your beautiful partner, because he is also big part that how you are. So I'm so grateful to him as well, and I hope really one day I meet you guys and hug.
Much love, and say hi to your kids as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye bye. Now actually I'm going and take all this and will be sleeping, but I will be so
Thank
happy. Oh
you.
no,
Thank
no,
you.
I'm talking to Alan now. I will be talking to Alan. He is waiting for us, me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay,
Thank,
bye. Much
thank
love.
you, my dear. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jasper. Thank you so much. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye bye.